I'm also trying to see if I can Windows and their problems. Nah, it's not even okay. So best now you're recording already.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I'll share my screen. Entire screen. Yes, share. Wrong with this. So can you guys still see my screen? Um, can you guys see my screen?
No, not yet.
Sorry guys, is this noise coming?
Please try muting your.
I cannot hear you.
Hear me now.
Can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Wait.
Yeah, it's better
Okay,
now.
this is much better. So I'll be using my phone for my mic. So what I want to like share with you guys is Software development lifecycle. I'm going to change this operating system. Sharp. So bless, now you're recording. Let me just.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, please come again. I didn't get that.
Said yes, I'm recording.
Okay, thank you very much. So what I want to share with you guys is software development life cycle. Um, so this is the image, really. This is just talks about what you do when you want to create a software or create a product, or this could also be said as system development life cycle for people doing like systems engineering, stuff things like that, like me. Um, So these are like the phases here. We have planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing and integration, and maintenance. That's six. In some diagrams you see that there are five. In some diagrams you see like seven, but it's all about these same things, right? So the software development life cycle is a structured framework that outlines various stages involved in the development of software applications. Well, it's not just software, that's the truth. Even in buildings and everything, in engineering, you actually follow these principles or these steps. So it serves as a roadmap for project management. So project managers, you see why I wanted to teach you guys this. Ensuring the software is developed efficiently and meets quality standards. Here's an overview of the key components. Okay, I see. Phases of software development lifecycle. First one, planning. This is the initial phase. So like now we've gotten a project to do. Um, this is where you get the details from the stakeholders or from the client and things like that. Okay, this is what the client wants. This is what things the client will say. This is what I want. This is what I need help with. Um, Next phase is requirement analysis. I think this one is pretty clear. Like anyone that reads this can just okay, this is what it means. So it's not like it's something that you've not done before. We've all done this, but I'm just like using this opportunity to. It's not just about this that I want to explain. I want to explain something more than just this. So requirement analysis. That's number two. In this phase, teams evaluate existing systems for deficiencies and gather specific requirements for the new software. So here, you maybe look at things that you've done before. You look at okay, what do I need for this thing to work? Then we begin to. This step is crucial for understanding what features and functionalities are necessary. This is where you can see that the product manager begins to assign the tasks and things like that the user wants, right? Then next thing is design. Uh, Here we have the UI UX. Then we have system design. For people that are into programming, we do system design. System design is like that guy was asking, what are we going to use for styling? What are we going to use for this? And um, I was like, are we using Tailwind or we are using this or using TypeScript? All that is about system design. We look into the things that we we need. Maybe we need something that is just for a small application. We know that okay, we are using Express.js, things like that. And maybe some other time for the developers, I'll teach about system design, but that's for another day. Um, the next one is development. During this process, developers write code based on the design specification. So after we've gotten the design, the developers do what they are supposed to do, right? Then testing. After development, of course, that's where in a team we have QA testers, that's quality assurance testers. After development, the software undergoes rigorous testing to identify and fix bugs or issues. This ensures that it meets specified requirements before deployment. Then the next phase, of course, you deploy the application or the app or the website or anything you're building. Once testing is complete, the software is deployed in a production environment where users can access it. This may involve several deployment strategies to ensure a smooth transition, right? Then after you've hosted your app, you need to maintain it. Things like login, things like notification, alert notification, things like that to make sure that you actually to make sure that your app doesn't go down, doesn't get destroyed. Um, so models of SDLC. So just to hope you guys understand this part so far. You can maybe react or okay. Thank you. So the next one is um models of SDLC. So there are various models of SDLC that organizations can adopt based on their specific needs. One is the waterfall model, a linear approach where each phase must be completed before moving to the next. It's straightforward but lacks flexibility. I'll explain more on that. Two, the agile model, which we'll be using as a team for now, focuses on iterative development with frequent releases and feedback loops, allowing for continuous improvement throughout the project lifecycle. Um, Spiral model combines iterative development with systematic risk assessment at each iteration, making it suitable for complex projects. The fourth one, V model, an extension of the waterfall model that emphasizes verification and validation at each stage of development. Very similar. So now, what is the waterfall model? This is, I think we all do this one. This is a traditional way of developing software in a software development lifecycle, where the whole product is treated as one single unit, and the development of one phase starts when the previous has ended. Adding or updating features in the waterfall model needs a specific time known as the downtime. I don't know if anyone has heard about downtime before. But yeah, that's what it is. And I'll explain more on that. The steps in waterfall model. Um, these are just the steps that, if you look at it, it's just the same steps as what do you call it in the software development lifecycle. You plan, analyze, design, implement, test, and maintain. It's almost the same thing now. If you look at so now, why am I treating it differently now? Before, like the definition said, it starts from one step, and that first step must be finished before you go on to the next step. So now let's see requirement analysis. Now the product manager has come with, okay, these are the things that we need to complete. That means before you can start a design, you need these you need these things to have been met, this one to have been met before you can go to the system design. And before you can start developing, you need the whole system design. So now in this case, we are taking the whole requirement analysis, we're taking the whole system design, we're taking the whole implementation, then the whole testing of the whole application, then you deploy the whole app. So for example, now a client comes and he says that I need this app. Then you know that this app is going to take about 6 months to make, right? But in that 6 months, you are going to do everything as one whole thing. So you're going to analyze it, you're going to design it, you're going to code it out, you're going to test, deploy, and maintain it as one single application. So after the 6 months, you then present it to the client that this is what you've done, right? So, but these things had issues. People that use this model, they knew that they had issues because after the 6 months, maybe the client could come and say that, oh, I want to change this, or oh, this is not what I wanted. So now, how do we resolve that issue? That's where the agile model comes in. And in the agile model, things are broken down. So this, like I said, this is the model we are going to be using for now. Agile model was created to kind of overcome the limitations of the waterfall model. This model breaks down the whole process into microservices or phases and focuses more on the client's needs and changes. Agile based products are developed using the agile lifecycle. And okay, the agile model is a software development methodology. It's actually a product management methodology that emphasizes flexibility, collaboration, and iterative progress. It is designed to adapt to changing requirements and prioritize customer satisfaction through continuous delivery of functional software. So now let me just explain this agile model in very simple words. So now given the 6 months here, so instead of building the whole application in the 6 months, what we are going to do is that we are going to break it down into smaller tasks. No, so maybe for the application we know that it's going to need authentication. We know that it's going to need products, or maybe we know that it's going to need orders, right? So we break it down into these smaller tasks, and then we tackle each task. And then after we are done with that, so for everyone that we are done with, we we show the client, okay, this is what we've done so far. So if he has any changes, we are moving into the next task. We apply those changes that the client has taken note of, or we took note of when talking to the client. So that way, we don't have to wait for the whole product to be finished before um before we then start to give it to the client. You might be asking why I'm just teaching this thing. This thing will actually come out in interviews for developers. Yeah, they might ask if you know about this thing, and you might know it, but you might not know that this is the name and things like that. So it's very important that we understand that this is a very important concept for you all. Key features of agile model: iterative development. So agile provides projects into small manageable units called iterations or sprints, usually sprints, typically lasting from 1 to 4 weeks. Each iteration encompasses the full software development lifecycle. So for every iteration, for example, now I made the example of using authentication products and orders. When we take the authentication, you're first going to do what? You're going to plan, you're going to analyze, you're going to design how the authentication is going to be. Then we are going to develop it, we are going to test it, then we are going to deploy just the authentication because that's the first part we are done with. Then we go into managing the authentication as we build the next one. So you see that the whole system or software development life cycle is inside one iteration, right? So each iteration encompasses the full software development life cycle, including planning, requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, and demonstration of a working product to stakeholders. So we also have to show that part to the clients or to the stakeholders. Customer collaboration. Agile methodologies prioritize ongoing interaction with customers throughout the development process. This collaboration ensures that the evolving needs of the customer are met effectively because customers don't know how to define what they want. That's the truth. And thank God we have product managers here, allowing for adjustments based on feedback received during each iteration. So, like I said, after each iteration, we show it to the client, and the client will tell us, okay, this is not what I want, this is what I want. So we don't have to go the whole or build the whole app before we get feedback from the client. Flexibility and adaptability. Unlike traditional models, which often follow a strict plan, like the waterfall model, which I just talked about, Agile allows teams to respond quickly to changes in requirement or market conditions. This adaptability is central to delivering value and maintaining project relevance. I'm just reading this out loud. In 2001, a group of software developers created the Agile Manifesto, which outlines four core values: individuals and interactions over processes and tools, right? So, client needs are to be met first before the tools we use, right? As long as it's working. Please make sure you build effective systems. So, two, working software over comprehensive documentation. That's true. So, there are sometimes that in the waterfall model there was a lot of documentation, but in the agile, not as much. I'm trying to remember the term that they used. just barely sufficient. I think that's the term. So the documentation is just barely sufficient. It's an actual term in Agile. So I encourage you guys to like go and make more research about that. So in case it comes out in any of the interviews or things like that, you know how to answer that. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So there are sometimes when you um negotiate a contract, you just work till the contract is over before you then show it to the client. But now the agile model introduces that customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So this encourages ongoing dialogue with customers rather than rigid contracts. So number four, or the fourth point, responding to change over following a plan. So this supports flexibility in adapting to new information or changes in direction. I think I'll send this link to you guys so you guys can like go through it. So no, Agile is a product management methodology, like I said, used by programmers, characterized by division. I'm an English boy. Why are you giving me US English? Okay. So characterized by division of big tasks into smaller tasks called sprints, like I'd already said before. So there are different types of agile methodologies. There's Scrum, there's Crystal, there's Lean, all these things are actually things that come out. So you guys should take note of these, right? Um so like I said, types of agile methodologies, we have Scrum, Crystal, Lean, Kanban, which is a subset of Lean. I don't think I got the spelling of this Kanban correctly. But once again, you guys can do some research, or maybe before the meeting ends, I'll show you guys. Um, so now this is the most common agile type is what Scrum, right? So you guys can see this here, the Scrum, which is still what we are going to be using. Um, this mixes of an iterative philosophy. We've already outlined the fact that agile is already iterative. It's over and over, loops and loops and loops of things. It is an iteration of plan, build, test, and review. So, of course, you plan, you build, you test, review with the client. Always remember that review with the client. So there are four parties in the Scrum. In the Scrum type, so we have a product owner who is generally the manager or the product manager. So after the client has talked to the manager then is like the idea guy. They don't need to have the tech skills. They just need to be disturbing the developers and things like that. Sorry for our product managers, but you cannot beat me. The idea guy without the tech skills is the product owner. That's the term that is used in Scrum. Then the team lead for that is the Scrum Master. Then there's a team and there are steps that we take, right? So this is not all about Scrum. I hope you guys are taking notes because I want to mention a few things, right? So in the Scrum, when we have a product, like now we have something we want to make, the product manager talk to the client, then we get user stories, which are like in a sense the PRD, require product requirements document, right? Then the product manager will then analyze that and know what things are of more priority. So if you look at this here, product user stories, PRD tasks given based on priorities, not preference, priorities. Then each task, let's say for 1 week, you want to take a particular task. So by that whole period that we are going to take for building that specific task is called a sprint, right? So that is basically the Scrum model. And um there's something called a sprint backlog. So a sprint backlog is basically what you do in a sprint. Let me just quickly write that down for you guys. There is going to be sprint planning. Um, Daily scrum. Sorry. This is going to be like a daily see how far we have gone. Sprint review. Demo. Yeah. And then mm, so this is the sprint backlog. Sprint planning, daily scrum. So that means every day we always have a meeting of to know how far we've gone. Especially for the developers, this is where we have meetings every single day to know that okay, yes, we are actually working. Maybe if there was any bugs that we need help with, we need that maybe we can bring someone from this team into the team. And then there's a sprint review, demoing the app, and there's shipping, which is the part. So the part that you've just finished for the sprint, you deploy that part. So you see that even before the 6 months, you already have a part that is working of the app that is working. So each time you deploy, and progressively you are building the application. So people can even, in a sense, start using the application before the whole application is deployed. Do you guys get? And so that like brings me to the end of my teaching for software development lifecycle. I just hope it was beneficial to you guys. So thank you very much. Yeah. Blessing, you can stop the recording so that we can just end our call for now.